Okay, a couple sample problems, three actually, but these are the same. So, why do I have this written down twice? Well, student number one, kind of more of a robotical mathematician. They're just going to take what they've learned and apply it. Let me show that to you. They're like, I don't really care about the numerator. I just need to get that radical out of the denominator. So they're going to just go with what they've been taught, multiply by the conjugate. But if I do that to the bottom, I got to do the same thing to the top. Now, I'm going to distribute. So I get 160 plus 480i all over. Now here, we're going to do the old FOIL trick. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6i is 12i. This is negative 12i. And this would be negative 36i squared. These middle terms cancel. I squared is actually negative 1, so that's negative 36 times negative 1, so that's plus 36. So 4 plus 36 is 40. And you think, oh, I'm done. Not so fast. Remember, you notice 40, 480, 160, they can all be reduced. So the technical way of doing it is put 160 over 40, put 480i all over 40. This would just be 4 plus, what would that be? And 12i. All right. I'm going to erase this. Here's the answer. 4 plus 12i. And let me show you the more preferred method. Easier. So you got to always have your radar up for these situations. You notice this situation? I can take a 2 out of here, and I'm left with 1 minus 3i. Good old factoring. Part of the reason why we worked so hard on factoring in the previous lesson, looking for these tricks. And now I can go, 80 divided by 2 is 40, all over 1 minus 3i. So now the numbers have been reduced. There'll be less to do later. So now I'm going to multiply by the conjugate, 1 plus 3i, and 1 plus 3i. Distribute. I'm going to get 40 plus 120i all over. Now I'm going to FOIL this out. 1 times 1 is 1. Outside, 3i. Inside, minus 3i. Careful here. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. I times I is I squared. Remember, the middle terms will cancel. 1 plus 9. Where's the plus? That's negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 9 is positive 9. So I get 10. Notice this is just the same thing as 40 over 10, which is 4. And then 120 over 10, which is 12. A little less work. So you be you, but I like this method a little better. Now, this doesn't happen all the time. Most of them are going to be just straightforward like this. As you can see, nothing can be factored out initially. As a side note, just so you know, 7 plus 2 over, I'm just making this up, 10 plus 2. Every now and then I get students, you're just looking for that easy trick, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to cancel these out. So my answer is 7/10. Well, let's take a look at this with a better magnifying glass. If I didn't cancel these out, what would I get? I'd get 9 over 12, which that reduces to 3/4, and these are not the same. So something went wrong here. Now some of you are like, well, I thought you could. That's when problems are written like this. See, if these are connected by multiplication, and I cancel them, I'd get 7/10. Now let me show you something. Because if I actually multiply them out, I get 14 over 20, which if it reduces, it goes there. So if they're connected by multiplication, the bottom and top, you can start canceling. But if they're connected by addition, you cannot. So why am I going overboard on that explanation? A lot of students will just cancel those i's. But notice, plus, minus, can't cancel them. So be careful. What do? Well, I'm not worried about the top. I just got to get that square root out of the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by the bottom's conjugate, negative 1, so that doesn't change, that does, minus 2i. Negative 1 minus 2i. Now we got quite a bit of work to do. Notice in the top, we got our classic FOIL. 4 times negative 4 is negative 4. 4 times negative 2i is negative 8i. Negative times a negative is positive 3i. Careful here, negative times a negative is positive 6i squared. Don't forget what I squared is. It's negative 1. That's the same thing as 6 times negative 1, which is negative 6. Negative 4 and negative 6 is negative 10. Negative 8i and 3i is negative 5i. Now that's the numerator. In the denominator, we got this. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Negative 1 times negative 2i is plus 2i. 2i times negative 1 is negative 2i. 2i times negative 2i is negative 4i squared. The middle terms cancel. That'd be 1. Remember, I squared is negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 4 is plus 4. So I get a 5. Notice, these can be divided. So negative 10 over 5. I'll just put a plus to keep that negative with it. Negative 5i over 5. Reduce these. Negative 2 minus negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1i, which is the same thing as negative 2 minus I. Either one of these are fine, but the book will probably put that. All right, there you go, guys. Get after that homework.